Oh, guys, I am on the grind. Okay, this happens to me once a year. It's World Championships. And then every fourth year, same exact tournament, same process, same guys, same country, same rules. They call it the Olympic Games. Just so you understand what the Olympics are. There's always this real prestige. I'm an Olympic champion. But you'll meet another guy that goes, well, I'm a world champion. And you don't look at him the same. It's the exact same tournament. But every fourth year, they call it the Olympics. Okay. My problem is wrestling, which I follow closer than anything. And I got to know live. I can't get it late. I have to know right in the moment. So wrestling is going in 2 live sessions. 2 a.m. where I am Pacific time, 7 a.m. where I am Pacific time, but it's going to be live. Olympic Channel. If you guys have that, if you're trying to find a way to watch this, if you go to any wrestling platform and or media, they will not tell you how to watch it. Why people in our sport don't want anybody to watch it is beyond me. If you go to Twitter, if you go to the .coms, they'll tell you who's wrestling. They'll build the matchup. David Taylor's going to take on Yastani for the gold medal. They'll read off Taylor's credentials as the 18 world champion, and they'll read off Yastani's credentials as the 74 kilogram 2016 world champion. They will never include when the goddamn match is. Nowhere in the article will they tell you what time the match is. Obviously, they will not tell you where to watch it. In fact, the closest I ever got was going to themat.com and finding a link which led you to another link. And if you did the research upon the other research, it would take you to somewhere that if you signed up with your local cable provider, it would draw you into the matches. Or you can go to the Olympic Channel. That's what it's called. Olympic Channel. I have a voice remote. I say the words Olympic Channel. I can't even tell you what number it is. You may have the channel. You may not. You may have to subscribe. Or you can go to 3 different .coms and do a whole bunch of research. I have the foggiest idea why it's so tough. They did a great job. They brought out John Smith, Jordan Burroughs. These guys play off of each other. It's wonderful commentating. John Smith and Jordan Burroughs can call a Greco-Roman match as well as anybody that calls a Greco match, by the way. So you know how well they're doing with the women. You know how well they're doing with the men's freestyle. Just saying, it's a very special and unique experience. Sure, you got to get up at 2 in the morning. Then you got a couple of hours of sleep. You got to go at 7. Now your whole day's shot. You got to go face the world. You're going to be on the grind like me. But if you're a wrestling fan, it's a lot of fun. And if you can watch it live and help support the network that is bringing it to us, it will encourage that network to bring it to us in the future. But for some reason, the leaders in wrestling don't ever want to tell you when and or where to watch the matches. Okay. Stay with me. A lot of this is done. Greco has come to a conclusion. We had 4 weights out of 6 that were qualified. I strongly disagree with that process. Adam Kuhn got a silver medal in the last quadrennium at weight class. That should instantly qualify our country to be able to participate in that weight class. And it's not even like the good old day where if you didn't get the results you wanted, there was somebody you could slip some money to in a back door. Right, the good old day of sport. They will still take money, but it's only to cheat a guy live on the mat. In America, we like to cheat the system, but it was to get opportunity for other people. It was to incentivize as opposed to decentivize. Even those good old days are done. So we don't even get Jordan Oliver onto the mat. I mean, it's heartbreaking. I so strongly disagree with this, and nobody is arguing to UWW otherwise. Nobody is stepping forward and starting a march. This whole thing happened in 2016 where they were going to pull wrestling from the Olympics anyway. So wrestling fought back. They got accepted. Okay, the sport's going to stay in the Olympics. So then everybody shut their mouth. They should be fighting tooth and nail, not accepting that there's 6 weight classes. They should be fighting for 10 weight classes. As soon as they shit their way, they should be fighting for 12 weight classes. It's now a 1-day tournament all the way to the gold medal. 2 days. We should be fighting for 3 days. We should be fighting absolutely everything with the same vigor that we did when they were going to pull the sport in the first place. But because they were going to pull the sport in the first place, now everybody just wants to be happy and shut their mouth, and there's no opportunity. If you're a wrestling coach or a wrestling parent and you tell your kid and kids in a room with a straight face that they should pursue wrestling, you are borderline being unethical. To encourage somebody to go into a sport that has so incredibly limited opportunity, and even for those who succeed, they largely leave depressed for life if their very last match, very last tournament didn't go the way that they wanted. Now, I share that to you because in spite of all of that, there is a tremendous honor in the fact that these guys are going out to represent the country. Gable Steveson, by example, random draw into the tournament. So Gable Steveson, who is Chael's pick to win the gold medal, has the defending Olympic and world, it's the same guy, the defending world and Olympic champion, second round. Now, second round, third round, first round is separated per the rules of UWW by no less than 20 minutes. That's not very much time. In kids wrestling, it's a minimum of 45. You come off the mat, you get something to eat, you relax a little bit. If the tournament's sailing right along, they still can't send you out there until you've had a 45-minute break. On the senior level, which is this Olympic level, it's 20 minutes. So when these tournaments are flying by and they're ready for you, get 20 minutes. That's not enough time to cool down and warm back up. Your cool down and your warm up is all the same. You get done with a match, you're now getting ready for your next match. You might have to switch your singlet and you're getting ready to go in the hole and make that walk. It's awesome. But I bring that to you because Gable Akul is, I believe how you say his name. Turkish heavyweight, I believe it's pronounced Akul, A-K-U-L, are going to go out at second round. That's for the championship. Whoever, there are only three guys in the weight class. You got the Georgian, you got the Turk, and you got Gable. Gable and the Turk are on the same side. They're going to have to figure it out. Whoever comes through, likely to have the Georgian tomorrow for the gold medal. I think this is the match. And I'm bringing that to you for many reasons because nobody else will. And even the people who will bring it to you won't tell you where in the hell you can watch it or what goddamn time it's on. And I have no idea why there's a push and pull. There is such petty politics in the sport of wrestling. There are so few people that want to cover it. And if they don't get the rights to show it, they then won't help the people that are showing it. They won't tell you when or where it's just one of these things, right? High tide lifts all ships. Nobody believes that philosophy in the sport of wrestling, so I'll be the one and only person to tell you it's on the Olympic channel. Tune in at 2 a.m., tune in at 7 a.m. if you want it live. There you go. That's all Pacific time. So the Greco goes out and wrestles. 4 guys get qualified. Again, I don't agree with that process, but it is what it is. Everybody agreed to it. We got to live by it. Of the 4 guys that qualified, I believe we won a match. If I'm wrong, we won 2. I know at 25, we won a match. I know D'Angelo Hancock won his opening match. That would be 2. If I'm wrong, Angelo is the only one to win. So what do? It's a tough spot. And anytime things go well, you then think you got it all figured out, which is wrong. When things go well, you can celebrate. Maybe you don't have to panic, but you still better learn from it. You would better learn. You'd better look at that and be real critical. Where can we get better? You have to do that. I see this in the sport of MMA all the time, but I see it in all sports. One guy loses, he fires his coaching staff. The other guy wins, everybody gets a bonus. Outcome-based as opposed to performance-based. Very, very narrow-minded. So let's just say we're looking at Greco. When you look at Greco in the U.S., in comparison to other countries, they will identify you in other countries, particularly Eastern Bloc. They will identify you by the time you're in the 3rd grade. By the time you're 9, 10 years old, you are identified as a Greco-Roman wrestler. You will not see a practice room or do any other form of wrestling. In America, we have what's called Collegiate, which long word for college, which is done just here in America. Now, it has to be that way. Many people are trying to get rid of Collegiate. Again, they're narrow-minded. If you were to get rid of the American style, which is Collegiate, okay, every team and university that you know of is simply going to recruit, and they're going to bring the Russians over, and they're going to bring the Germans over, and they're going to bring the Cubans over, and they're going to stack their teams and go out and try to win NCAA titles. It's not going to be America anymore. So you're going to have a huge problem right out of the gate. If you are an American wrestling fan and or coach, and you are arguing to only do the international styles, you need to know what you're saying. You're going to cannibalize your own product, your own team, and your kids aren't going to get opportunities. That is what the byproduct of it is going to be. Make sure that you understand that. Secondly, collegiate wrestling is the hardest sport you can do. You are much tougher from a physical durability standpoint, from a pure output, from a pure heart rate, pulse, beads of sweat standpoint, doing collegiate wrestling than any other sport. Not just freestyle or Greco-Roman wrestling. Of any sport, it is the hardest. Which is why every time we see a collegiate wrestler, or a coach who sticks around collegiate programs, go further than the guys that lock into the international styles. They're just too much easier. You bring in a Kyle Schneider who's training college every single day, he can walk onto the mat in 2015 and win the world championship. Or you take an Adam Kuhn who had no time to train Greco-Roman at all, but he came through the grind of a collegiate season, understands an upright posture and a pummel here and there. He'll pin his way into the world finals. This is very common. This isn't the exception. This is the norm. If you can take those guys and keep them in that collegiate atmosphere. If you try to identify guys and you try to take them at the third and the fourth and the fifth grade, yes, you might get their techniques to a level, but how much do you think there is to learn? I mean, how many meaningful scoring techniques do you see in the Olympic Games on your feet and or on the mat? You see 0 half Nelsons, you see 0 arm bars, you see 0 front headlocks, at least in this year's game. I still argue for you that a front headlock's a good technique. It is 100% gut wrenches and lifts. Do I really need to take a 9-year-old and teach him that for the next 10 years? I feel like I could teach somebody that in 3 months. I'm a pretty good coach. And the same thing goes on the feet. How many duck under slide-bys and arm drags do you want to learn? Why the hell do I need this kid at 10 years old? Why don't I just put him through the tough system, callous him up a little bit, put him on the mat with a better motor than everybody else? The same has worked for Schneider and the same has worked for Kuhn in the last quad. It's a very interesting concept. But if we don't start to understand that concept, we're going to be stuck. Sure, you could go through the cadets and you could go through the juniors and you could even look good in the universities if you've been doing it. This is the senior level. And everybody that I'm watching, it isn't about pummeling, even though everybody wants to say it is. It's not. It's about who goes harder than the other guy. My favorite guy to watch was Stabler. German kid, 3-time world champion, ended up with the bronze medal, 32 years old, left his shoes on the mat and walked away. Stabler isn't a better wrestler than anybody else, but he goes harder. He has better conditioning. That's the same thing that the college guys bring in. Even the guys post-collegiate career that do the best, they're not the guys that go and join the regional training centers or go out to the OTC or focus on freestyle and Greco-Roman. It's not. The guys who do the absolute best stick around a college program. They go do the college workout for 2 hours and they stick around and they do some parterre at the end. That is 100% how our 92 team, the real dream team of wrestling, did. It's how our 88 team did. It's how our 96 team did. I could go on and on. Collegiate wrestling still trumps everything else. And if you don't collegiate wrestle, you're not as tough as the guy who did collegiate wrestle. And as much as that might hurt your feelings, it's the truth. And when we get over there and we don't have the same grind and we don't have the same push and pull as the other guys, and you look around. You look around for a Rulon Gardner who came through it. You look around for a Brad Varing who came through it. You look around for a Matt Lindland who came through it. And then you start looking around for the 1 or 2 guys who found a medal without doing it. There's not a lot of them. Schneider came in with the number 2 seed. He's going to have Azerbaijan as a way of getting into the finals with the Russian tank. It's going to be a great match. I've never seen Schneider firing on all cylinders quite like this. I just haven't seen it. I think that he's going to get there. I think anybody that sold their Kyle Schneider stock sold it way too early. I think that Taylor versus Yazdani is going to be great, and I haven't even gotten to Kid Dynamite yet. And I haven't seen Kyle Dake draw, but I do not believe he meets up with the Russian right away. And I only say that purely because if he was going to meet up with the Russian in the first 2 or 3 rounds, I would have heard about it, and I didn't. So I'm assuming that they're on opposite sides of the bracket. It's going to go down at 2 a.m. It's then going to go down again at 7 a.m. Those are your only 2 live feeds of the day, 2 wonderful sessions. It's on the Olympic channel, Pacific time. I don't know why anybody refused to tell you.